Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to prick some parchment. This is a piece of sheep parchment. This was a black and white sheep, so this black that you see here is actually the melanin that is in their skin, and it's down in the hair follicle, so it doesn't come out. So whenever you see a mottled piece of parchment like this, it's not that anything was left there, it's that that's the color of the sheep's skin, and it was white here and it was black here and there's little speckles and stuff. It was a really cute little sheep. So there's a couple ways of doing this. The first one is if you just wanted to trace it, you could lay it here or on a light table and go ahead and trace those lines off in pen or pencil or whatever. But I would like to show pricking this, which is done with a needle tool, and that is actually done with the tracing part, the tracing paper, on top of the parchment. And usually for a bookbinder you put several pieces of parchment down and prick them all the same so that they're all exactly the same. And this would also be just a quarter of the sheet, so you would have a big sheet of paper and this would get pricked way over there, and then the lines would be drawn on that, because you don't want to prick it along your spine. But because this is an artwork piece, I'm going to use these lines in order to prick that. So all I'm going to do is line up and prick, and I have this on foam core. You can hear the pricking sound as it goes through. And you can see as there's an angle here, how things could get off as you go through multiple layers. So if you really want to be precise, keep that upright. You want to keep it right towards the outside of the parchment so that it doesn't get in the way. And I would actually have liked this to be out even farther, but that's okay. It's going to get covered up by whatever mat the artwork gets put behind. Okay, there are a few tools that we need here to put our ink lines in. I have a pipette, oak gall ink from Guild Marandola. Awesome! That's probably way too much ink, but that's okay. We want enough ink to work with our pen. Crow quill pen. You can use an actual crow quill. I actually like to use a metal quill at this stage. And you're also going to need a tissue and a ruler. You could also totally draw this in with a pencil and then erase it afterwards if you didn't want the lines on. I like the lines. I like the historic accuracy of them. So now comes the tricky bit of seeing exactly where I need to put the lines, and I want to work this way and across. Oh, where have my little lines gone? Okay, right there and right there. And this line goes all the way across, and your crow quill may not make it all the way across. That is okay. Just redip and start again. So that line goes all the way across. You want to lift carefully, and then I wipe. Between each one I wipe. Reason being is that you do not want residual ink to splash down on anything. So I'm going to get my grid across. There you are. There you are. Because going to get my grid across, because the lines that go between here where I write are not going to be all the way across. So I want these set in, and then I want those set in. I'm just going to turn this for ease of working. Wait for that to dry through the magic of video editing. Through the magic of video editing, we are back trying to find my marks. Alright, that is it. The downside of having a pricked parchment is that sometimes it is really hard to see where your marks are on imperfect parchment. And again, this one is all the way, come on. You can write. Indeed, you can. No, really, you can totally write, please, on the parchment. Thank you very much. Again, cleaning this between each thing, because not cleaning it is not a good idea. Okay, I totally repricked it because I couldn't see it. I can see the other one. I could not see that one at all. And I am not 100% certain that that is right, so I'm just going to do a quick approximate. Yeah, I guess that's right. Okay. When in doubt, measure it. Okay, now some of you may be noticing that I am actually touching my parchment with my hands. It is fine to touch your parchment with your hands if you have clean hands. If you have greasy hands, like I was rendering lard earlier today, don't touch your parchment with hands that you've been rendering lard with without washing your hands. Okay? So just work clean, clean, clean. Alright, and through the magic of video editing, yet again, I'm going to let this dry, and then we're going to put our lines in right here. Each one of these lines is approximately 1 centimeter apart. And I'm actually used to working at 1/4 inch, so this is going to be interesting. And again, through the magic of video editing, I have darkened with a pencil these lines so that maybe you can see them. But I am lining up the prick marks there and there, but I'm only drawing the text mark there. Wipe between each one. Make sure you get yourself new ink each time. And you may find that it wants to load more at the beginning. And if you really wanted to, you could like turn the paper and stuff. They didn't do that in the Middle Ages. They just didn't. It wasn't practical. I mean, this is a factory, okay, and a business, and you have to be fast in order to make a living. Same then, same now, okay? Mine is not a factory. Mine is not a business. This is just like a total hobby, okay? But speed was actually pretty important. And if you were doing this all day, you get pretty fast at it. I do not do this all day. I am slow as molasses. Although molasses in February right now would flow pretty fast because it's over 40 degrees today. Isn't it lovely? My chickens love this. Okay. Don't be afraid to go over a line again if you need to. Okay, sometimes you're going to get this little bead right there and right there. And I don't like the way those look. So I just take them off with a corner. I don't like the way they look when they dry. They have like this lacquery type look to them. Now, because this is animal skin, it is not perfectly flat. Sometimes you're going to get a little buckling, and when I picked that up imperfectly there. It kind of smudged a little bit. That is okay. Because once you get all your calligraphy on that, the chances of that being any kind of noticeable are so small. I mean, obviously, if it smears badly, you're going to want to fix it. But that is not a bad smear at all. That's not anything you wouldn't see in a genuine medieval manuscript. I do like this ruler with a little handle on it for this, because I can just pick things up. That bottom line is going to drive me nuts. It's okay. I'm going to have to check my template and make sure it's right on the template, because otherwise the next time I go to use it, it's going to drive me nuts too. Alright, one more line. And if you need to, for scroll wording, to keep adding text lines, you can. What I suggest is doing the calligraphy first, because that way if you need more space, like the king and queen have to sign this thing, they need space to sign it, just go ahead and give them space to sign it. Take that away from the illustration. So that's it. I'm going to take these little beady things off here because I don't like them. You go away. You want to do it with a clean bit each time. You go away. Those I'm going to leave. They aren't big enough to bother with. Okay, so that's all. My grid is in. I let that dry, do the calligraphy, and then the illumination.